Hello and welcome everybody. We're so excited to be joining you. I'm Laurel Daniels and with me we have...
I'm Nathan Erznoznik.
Yes, a little different. First we gotta back up a little bit because we are different than what we originally had planned. Who was gonna help do this segment again. This morning, if you joined us, we had Nathan and Mark talk a little bit about these machines. This afternoon, it was going to be Nathan and Carla. Now some things came up, so me and Jarek here have the opportunity to talk with you on these machines.
Absolutely, and you know what, Laurel, I'll tell you this, I love the 19 machine, like literally, so like if I was going to get put on any video or to answer questions on, you know, this is like one of the ones to come on because the 19 is amazing.
Absolutely, I know. I personally love the 19-inch machines as well. Wonderful. I think they are ones I tend to, like if they're like, all right, go choose a machine, I'm like, boom, all right, 19.
Yep.
You know, so that is one I tend to gravitate towards. But with this segment, it is a live Q&A. So this is an opportunity, it is specifically on our 19-inch machine. So if you have any questions on those, please feel free to put them in the chat. We do want to make sure we can go through and answer all of those questions. We do also have a few key things we want to make sure we hit for you guys, just so you kind of can know a little bit more about these machines. So please, again, in the chat, tell us where you're from, tell us those questions you may have. We want to take an opportunity to answer all of those for you. One thing I do want to kind of just touch on before we dive into some of the first questions we have here is our dealer locator. So we do have dealers all throughout the US, some even internationally. I know this morning there were some people joining internationally. We do have distributors all over. And again, dealers all throughout the United States. So please, if you are interested, check on our website. We have a dealer locator that will help you find the closest one to you. If not, call us. We'll help you look up that information so we can get it to you.
And also on that, Laurel, as well, you know, our dealers are really great. And, you know, we're the manufacturer and we're great to work with, but when you work through a dealer, you get to work with us and them. So you get the best of both worlds. Yes. You know, you're not just stuck with us, even though it is pretty fun here with us. You know, we got a lot of great dealers out there. So yeah, please give them some love and go see who's close to you.
Yes, absolutely. And some of our dealers do have an opportunity to offer specific things if you are more local to them. Things that as we as a manufacturer are not quite able to offer because we are just out of one location. So please, again, reach out. And thank you everybody for joining us. This is wonderful to be able to see people coming from all over. I think that's one of my favorite parts about the lives is to be like, yes, someone from another state. Yeah, it's just fun to be able to see and to get to talk with you guys. And again, help answer some of those questions. So I know one of the first questions I believe kind of that popped up was a little bit on the maintenance of the machine. So I think we'll go into that, but specifically on the question is they talked about oiling the machine. So with this, pretty simple. There are kind of, I'd say, two key spots you want to make sure you oil with your machine, really all machines that is, but with the 19s specifically. The first one is actually the needle bar. So it's a little bit different, but the needle bar itself sits inside this top portion here. So if you want, there is a tiny little notch over here on the side that you can see. So really super easy. You can just drop the oil down right here, right where it curves on the top of the machine. It will hit the needle bar. However, for some of you that are like, no, I want to see it, right? I want to see the oil touch the needle bar. Right. You can actually just take this top portion off. It's just one simple screw. You pull it off, you'll see the needle bar right underneath there. So super simple, very easy access. Again, you don't have to take that top portion off. Just drop the oil down. Again, it'll hit that needle bar, but if you want to see it, super simple, pull the top piece off. The other part is down in the bobbin area. So just where you would put a bobbin case, literally right up on the top portion, we say that because it is a spinning part. It will allow the oil to drip down and get all around that area for you. So again, just right at the top where you put the bobbin case in, oil it. Usually what I will recommend is move the needle just a little bit so you can see the portion of the bottom here move and allow that oil to really get in there for you. So super simple, very easy, but you're kind of maybe on that. Tell us a little bit more maintenance-wise on these machines. I know that's a big question we tend to get.
That is a huge question, and on these, since these are all sealed, it's nothing that you ever have to take back in to get maintenance. You know, you can take it in to get clean if you want, but it's real easy to clean too. You can just take some compressed air. I would also just clean out the bobbin area because you just don't want the lint to build up, but that's a pretty standard sewing machine sort of thing. So you're just keeping, this bobbin area clear, free of lint. So, you can just spray it out, every project, every couple of projects, whatever you really want to do. And then just keeping that oil on it every few projects as well. I would say, just every couple of projects. It kind of depends. It's a little bit tricky, but you just don't want to over oil it as well. You want to keep it oiled, but not over oil it. So, every 1 or 2 projects, just put another drop of oil on there, and then you'll be all good to go. And yep, like Laurel said, it's just right on that bobbin case. But when it really comes down to it, that's about it. Another thing I can think of is also just keeping the wheels clean, and that's just wiping it off with some tissues, because some oil or dust can build up on there and kind of make it lumpy. It's not a huge thing unless you really neglect it for a long time. So just keeping it clean and maintained is really all that needs to happen. Which is really fantastic, because there's no lugging it anywhere, having to take it to another building. So yeah, I mean, the maintenance is easy as that, LJ.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Think about that, right? I know that's sometimes a concern for people when stepping into bigger machines. They're like, well, with a domestic machine, sometimes there is a yearly maintenance that needs to happen with it. But Jarek hit it right on the head that because this is a fully enclosed system, there's no worries. If you were, for example, Jarek said, blow some air in there to get the lint out, it's not going to get on the internal parts of the machine, because again, it is a fully enclosed system. That also allows you to not need that yearly maintenance with it. And then again, super basic oiling machine, keeping the wheels clean as well, and the tracks, that's all it takes when it comes to the maintenance side of it. I do know there's sometimes some questions when people say, okay, and part of this is when we recommend to keep the box for the machine. So sometimes, yes, something will happen to the machine. I actually just recently took a call from a dealer who the customer bought the machine. First thing they did when they took it out of the box was drop the machine. So that one was a little unfortunate. I believe it was a little pet that got under the feet so tripped him up and dropped the machine. So there was some of that, but it was just, again, let's say something like that were to happen. First thing off is that dealer is fully taking care of that customer, right? So they went and purchased through the dealer. So that dealer has their own servicing that they offer. And so then if it was with us, though, let's say you bought direct from us, that's where we asked you, hey, keep the box, so that if anything is needed and we need to look at the internal side of the machine, you can send it back into us. So that's where, again, if you have the space, absolutely, and even if not, see if you can find the space to save that box of the machine. So if you ever do need to send it in, it can come back to us.
Absolutely. I would definitely encourage everyone to save your box when you get it, just because you never know. And if it needs to get back, then you need a box, and it is, you have to pay to ship it there. You also have to pay for the new boxing and everything, because there's not really another way we can get it back. So then you're out that additional time, right? But what's also great is that, LJ, if that customer didn't have their dealer, if they didn't buy from a dealer, and even if the dealer couldn't help them, because there is some of our dealers, they don't do servicing as much, or they might prefer to send it back to us. So we actually service it here in Utah in our own warehouse and our shop with our techs here. We service that as well. So that's a part of why you want to keep the box, because if worse comes to worse, and we send it back to us, and then we take care of you. So again, just hold on to that box.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, Jarek, you said, I just want to reiterate it because there was partly a question on it. We did hit on it, but again, it was, hey, what if you don't have that local dealer? Maybe you used to have one in the area, you no longer do. That's where we do still obviously offer full service for our machines. We want to make sure it's always going to continue to work well for you. So yes, keep the box so you can send it in to us. Kind of working through it as well. One thing I want to just talk on with the machines, because it kind of goes back to that story of the customer who dropped the machine. So that one just was an unfortunate circumstance that probably should have shut the door, not let the animals in. But with it is part of the unboxing of this machine. So Jarek, do you tell me maybe a little bit about it? Because I know it's different than what some of our older machines used to be like when you're unboxing them.
Right, and this one you want to follow a more specific process, and the instructions are right there, so you can walk through that, and it will kind of help you know which box to get when. And it's also really great because on these boxes, it helps you mount the wheels, which is really fantastic compared to our old ones where it was just 2 sections stuck together and you had to pull those out of the box. But now it comes out and you get the wheelbases, you put those on there, and then it has a whole process where you're kind of flip it around and put the machine on top and then screw on the wheels. So it has a very it has a specific and very helpful outline in there to help you get that together effectively.
Yeah, which is just, I love that, we're always an innovating company, right? We're always trying to find ways that we can improve things. And one of the things we got feedback on was that unboxing experience, right? Sometimes with these machines, they are definitely kind of can be heavy. They have some weight to them. So with that, yeah, they said, great, why not let you assemble it in the box, make it easy for you. So the only time you have to move it is when you're ready to actually set it on a frame. So that's a really fun feature that comes with not just our 19, but I believe also our 16s have even a little bit different, unique unboxing experience, but we're trying to roll that out across the board on our machines. Another question that came up here, it looks like it's, I'm probably saying, is it Major Crust? It says, will the 15 Pro ruler base fit on the 19X Elite? Great question. I do know there's often questions on accessories like ruler bases. So for the 15 Pro, it is specific for 15-inch machines. So let's say if someone had a 15R or a 15 Pro, that is where it's interchangeable. But when you step into a longer throat space, so like the 19 or even the 21, they do have their own specific rule bases. And the reason for that really is this bottom part of the machine, the width of them varies from machine to machine. So even our 19 here compared to our little bit smaller 16, the 16 has a little bit of a wider base here. So there's a wider opening for the ruler base to fit on. So again, that's where the 15 one unfortunately is not compatible with the 19, but there are specific ones that you can get. However, one thing that is kind of compatible across the board, didn't used to be, but it is now, and we're really excited about that on the sales team, because there's finally one code we get to use for it.
One price.
Yes, but is the hopping feet. So hopping feet across the board, let's say you have a 15, you're like, you know what, I want to upgrade to one of the 19-inch machines. You can actually carry over those hopping feet onto these machines, which is awesome, right?
That is really great. And there was like back in the day when we had the original 19, there was a different one, but now it's even still compatible with those because it comes with a bracket in there to adapt. So no matter what machine you have, old, new, brand new, whatever which one it is, the hopping foot will work with it perfectly.
Yeah, absolutely. That's wonderful. So again, that kind of answers on, hey, does different accessories work with the different machines? Yes. Ruler bases are specific, hopping feet are not. Rear handles, those
That's
are
another one
that is a bit more specific.
Yes.
Just because again, the size of the body of the machines are different. So there
also
are
the
different
screens as well.
Screens are different, yes, and that's where the compatibility between those rear handles are different. Another one though that was actually asked this morning, but was on automation, right? So what automation is compatible with the machines? So across the board, beginnings or the Pro is compatible with all of our QNEEQ machines. So that does include the QNEEQ 19X Elite and the QNEEQ 19X we have here. So again, really with the accessories, you're not limited. That's where, hey, we can mix and match what's gonna work best for you. Question I know came in, and this is actually one that I'm gonna say you probably need to reach back out to us so we can get some additional information, but from, I'm gonna say, is it Lois? Whew, Lois Ruth. I have the first original Bernina quilt frame, which was made by Grace Company. Will any of the 19X machines work on that? Great question. So this is where I would say we would need to know just a bit of additional information to know if it would be compatible. So really reach back out to us. We have our number here at the bottom, or you can visit our website, chat with us, because we probably need to see potentially a picture of your frame, just so we can see sometimes the width here between your wheels is what's a determining factor. Sometimes what your frame has, going lengthwise, what the wheels are for it. So there is a potential, but again, reach out to us so we can just kind of further confirm if it would work, or if maybe an extra component would be needed or not.
And on that point of frames, Laurel, that got me thinking about, which frames is this currently compatible with, and that's all of the ones that we currently have, this will work with. So that's the Cutie frame, our new Cutie Breeze that will be coming out, our Evolution Elite frames and Hoop frames, the Queen frame, all of those frames, this will fit right on there, and you don't need to get anything extra. You just take that top plate off and that bottom carriage stays on there, and these have those wheels that line directly up with it and works perfectly and seamlessly. So if you're ever thinking about upgrading, if you have a Cutie, machine, you have a domestic machine, all you do is you buy this and you throw it right on there.
There you go.
That's as easy as that.
That's awesome. Super easy. Again, it comes down to, hey, what is it you're looking for? Part of that is budget. So maybe we'll show you guys on our website where you can see the pricing of these, because for this month, we actually are highlighting our 19-inch throat space machines. So both the X and X Elite models are at a discounted price for you. So super simple. Go to our website, so graceframe.com. You can specifically search different machine heads, but we do have this, I think it was, I don't know if it was a specific percentage we had, but maybe we can pull it up here to show you that pricing we have. Okay, yeah, perfect. So
20%, there you go. Over 20%.
Over, I think it's over $2,000 that you get to save, right? Over $2,000 that you're saving. That is over 20% off. That's awesome. Think about that,
really
right?
Great.
It's a wonderful opportunity that, hey, if you are looking at something that is budget friendly, but trying to allow you to help get you into a way to finish more quilts, these are wonderful machines, and you can see really, especially on that 19X Elite, a little bit even heavier of a discount on it than the X. So that's where, hey, if you're thinking about it, step into that, get some of those additional features that come with that 19X Elite machine.
Absolutely, and this is a song that's already been sung. I already, in this very thing, and earlier today, and I'm probably gonna sing it again before we're done, but like the 19 is just such a fantastic machine. It's really a great balance of the throat space and the weight and everything about it. It just runs smooth. I used to work back in the quality check where we check these machines when they come in and we sew them, and I always just loved working on the 19s because they always just smooth. They always stitch so good, so smooth, and they're just, you know, they have just a great feel to them. I think that's just a part of it, right? They have a really fantastic feel. All the other machines feel great too, but I just, you know, it's hard to not just be like, oh, the 19 is wonderful, right? So
yeah, well, I think part of that comes into the design of it, right, Jarek? I don't know, I guess you know part of it. Jarek used to work in the machine lab, right? But with it is, it does have a bit more plastic on top of it. So part of it is to give it a different look than some of our other machines, a little bit less industrial. But with that, it does allow it to actually be lighter. I think, what is it? I can't remember right now. What does it weigh, Jarek, out of the box? It's like,
oh, I can't remember. It was about 10, it's less than our 15 used to be.
Yes.
I can't remember the exact numbers, but it was less than our 15-inch machine. The 19 machine weighed less than the 15-inch machine.
Which is crazy, right? Think about it, you're getting additional throat space, but you're actually taking away some of the weight with that, which is a wonderful thing with it.
Absolutely. And another little bit of trivia too, if you'll notice the design of the 19, this was the first one that looked like this in our lineup. You can now see our 16 and our little Rebel look very similar to this, and that is because it's sleek and it works very well. So you'll notice we this was the first machine like that, and obviously it's done great because we've now moved that on into 2 other designs.
Yeah, absolutely. That's where, I think that's where, you know, part of the reason we're always drawn to, like, oh, I love the way the machine looks. You know, you're like, I want to go use that.
Right.
So that definitely is part of it. One thing I do want to talk on, and then we'll go through a couple of the other questions that we've gotten from people. First is just a reminder, guys, this is, again, a live Q&A, so we do want to make sure to take the opportunity to answer those questions. So if you're just joining us, please feel free to put any of those questions you have in the chat. We are going to do our best to go through them. However, if we aren't able to get to them, you'll see the number down there as well as how to get to our website. So please reach out to us. We do want to be able to answer all of the questions you may have. But one of them is on a bobbin winder. People ask this isn't maybe just specifically on the 19, but they say, hey, you know, do your machines have a built-in one, or is there one I can buy separately for it?
Right.
And this is a great question. I actually love this one because it's a feature that you don't see on many mid or long arm machines in the industry. And with that, this one actually has a built-in bobbin winder, and even with that, it's a little bit more unique that it's what we call an optical one, right?
Yeah, and it's really great. I love the optical sensor on there because it's very exact. A lot of the other ones out there, you know, the standalone ones are that mechanical switch, which, you know, after some time, it can kind of get pushed out of the way just over lots of use. But this one, it's, you know, it's a laser. It's always going to stay right there, right on there, and it will stop right when it gets to the perfect fill amount. So, you know, something that's so important to how your machine sews is your bobbin. Now, I cannot tell you how many problems can go wrong if your bobbin is not, you know, filled correctly. So this really helps you make sure that your bobbin is not going to get filled incorrectly, and you'll be able to see very well, and there's not going to be any sort of other kind of weird things going on with it.
Yeah, absolutely. So wonderful. On, again, all of our machines, we have the built-in bobbin winder, and it runs on its own motor. So that's where if you want, awesome. You don't necessarily need to unthread the whole machine, right, just to wind a bobbin. It has that second thread cone stand as well for you, and its own separate motor. So I love that feature because, again, that is one that is very unique to the Unique lineup of machines. Yes, but kind of going through some of the questions. One of the first ones here is from Nita Hughes. It says, will the Continuum 2 frame work with the 19 or 19X? So I think they're looking at the 19X or the 19X Elite, and the answer is yes, absolutely. You actually, with that particular frame, can fit any of our machines on it. But yeah, absolutely the 19s will work, and especially as they are discounted right now, this is the perfect time to step into what that is.
Absolutely. Yeah, and you know, it's really great to upgrade now because usually the price between them is kind of like elite. But right now, if you're like thinking about getting a 16, it's like, okay, well, a 19 is not really too much more in the scope of things. So that's really great pricing again. You can find that on our website. And you know, if you have any questions, again, we have our number scrolling across the bottom. And so these great compatibility questions, if you happen to run into any of those, you know, just give us a call as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Another question is from Major Crust. It says, are there specific bracket for the 19X Elite to mount the tablet for QCT5? So this one, probably kind of question for you, Major Crust, is are you converting from a different machine you have into this one? Because if you are purchasing the QCT5 new, it comes with all the brackets regardless of what machine you have. So again, even if you did buy new and hopefully you kept your box, you still should have a bracket that will allow it to fit on the 19s, and it's the same bracket across the board. So maybe that's what they're asking on as well. Another question from Belinda Brine said, I never used a long arm machine. Are they difficult to learn or to use? Sure, what do you think?
Wow, that is a really, it's a deep question, but also a very simple one, right? It's a kind of, I would say, a loaded question almost, because there's a few different things we have to kind of go into here. Now, I would say, like in general, like sewing machines, they're all kind of like instruments or artistic devices, right? So it's kind of like, you know, painting or like using a pencil. So with long arm quilting, I would say is absolutely so much easier than sit down pushing it around.
Yeah.
I always tell the story now because for a while working here, I was just so used to like long arm machines, but then I had the chance to go back and try the sit down ones. And like my arms were sore after like 10 minutes, maybe 5 minutes. I was like, what the heck? These, you know, I'm a young guy and, you know, I'm not like super fit, but I'm definitely not unfit. And I'm, like I said, you know, I'm young, I'm spry. It was like, I'm getting worn out already, you know? So that's something that was just blew my mind is that, you know, these ladies are like quilting entire king size quilts on these tiny machines, and then it's, you know, trying to manage all the fabric, and fabric is heavy, you know, it's not light. So it just is a night and day difference. It's a lot more like drawing with a pencil and kind of trying to move like a paper around. Like if you were to think, you know, I want to sign my name, would you like mount your pencil to a device and then like move your paper around, or would you like just pick it up and like sign your name, right? So it's the same exact thing with these. Now, the second part of that is the learning part. There is a lot of learning to do, and like art, there's a lot of kind of different things you can do with it. So deciding what you want to do, there's a lot of resources out there. Not like once you learn how to use the tool, then it's like, okay, what am I going to do with the tool? Learning how to use it, I would say that's pretty dang easy, and these machines make it super easy to do as well because the controls are super easy, and this will carry you all the way from starting learning all the way to when you're a professional. So it, you know, covers both ranges. And so then, like I said, the other question is, you know, would you want to do ruler work? Do you want to do, you know, free motion quilting? And so we, you know, Carla, she goes through a few things. We have a couple of videos walking you through how to get started on free motion quilting. And, you know, we have our panel, our free motion starter kit. So there's a couple different components, but overall I would say yes and also no. But mostly yes.
Yes, yeah, no, I absolutely agree with that, Jarek. I do think, the question of, hey, is it easy to use? I do think it is something stepping into, way easier to feel confident in it when you're able to put a machine on a frame versus using a sit-down machine where that sits still. I also first started out on this, and when I had an opportunity to sit down and move the fabric, I kept moving it the wrong way. I couldn't get it. I was like, I wanted to go here, but because I was so used to this, my mind kept moving it like the wrong way. I don't know why. It was a hard coordination thing for me to get. So I love this. I do think it is something, I honestly haven't really done a lot of work with it. When I do, it's at shows. So even then it's like, I do a little swirl, right? Like that's what I like to do to show people. I'm like, look at this, what I can do. They're like, you're amazing. I'm like, I know. That's all I can do, right? Like that's it. I can't do anything else. But it is super easy to be able to get into it and start free motioning with it. There obviously are some different levels if you wanted to get into ruler work. That comes a little bit more skill, right? A little bit more practice that may come with it. But yeah, stepping into it, I think is super easy and is one of the easiest things to step into, honestly.
Also, something I would say about long arm machines, free motion machines in general, or even like a cutie frame, going from like sitting down and pushing around and putting it on the frame, is it makes you feel like a professional, like way quicker.
You really do.
You start to pick it up a lot easier, and it's a lot more of like, wow, I feel like I don't know what I'm doing, and then you like start picking this up, and it's just like, oh wow, it's just like I'm drawing on a piece of paper. So that's how it was for me. When I started doing it, I was like, whoa. I was like I know how to do this. Like I know how to quilt now. Like I know how to sew. So, obviously there's a lot of things you can still learn down that path, but you can do a lot more because of the regulation and everything built into there. There's just a lot less to worry about.
Yeah, no, wonderful. Again, thank you everybody for joining us. There is one last thing I do want to just talk on and really show you guys again is the pricing of the machines. So for this month, so I believe it's through, I think it's next Thursday, the 31st of August.
It's coming up on us.
Yes, that we have this wonderful promotional discounted pricing for you guys. So we had an opportunity to talk with you about these machines. So if you are interested, please, now is the time to take a look. If there are additional questions that we maybe weren't able to answer, reach out to us. We want to help answer those. But again, wonderful pricing. It is going to go away very, very soon here. So please, now's the time. Buy it. If you have questions, reach out to us. And if it is something you are interested in, we do offer financing through Synchrony. We do have an opportunity to offer 0% if you do, I think it's like 6 through 24 months or something like that.
6 through 24.
So if that is something that you're interested in as well, we'd be happy to have that discussion with you. But I don't know, Jarek, if there's any last things you want to add to it?
Oh, the last things I would want to add is if we didn't get to your question, because I do see that we still have some, what we just unfortunately don't have the time for here, is that, give us a call. We would love to help you out with your question, or email us, send us in a chat. There's a lot of different ways to get a hold of us. So if you have any questions, we're always here, happy to help you and figure out, kind of what you want to do. Yeah, absolutely. And again, call us as well so we can help look out at a potential local dealer for you. Our dealers are amazing. Me and Jarek are account executives here, so we have an opportunity to actually help deal with some of those. And I don't know about Jarek, but I love it. It's wonderful to be able to connect with people all over, and then for them to really hear how much they care about you guys and want to get you taken care of. So please call us. Again, we'll see if we can find a local dealer for you, and we'll also help answer any questions. But thank you guys so much for joining us. We loved being here with you.